What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and AFL26 has a brand new trailer. The game is a week away. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of questions that are reasonably to be asked, and there's going to be a lot of conversation still to be had about this game in the days leading up to launch, at launch day, and certainly well beyond. Let's get into it a little bit here. We've got this brand new trailer that we're going to check out. We're going to dive into it. We're going to try and analyze it. First, let's jump over to what Big Ant have produced.
The atmosphere is electric. The adrenaline is pumping. There's nowhere you'd rather be.
Takes a beauty.
This would be something special. Get out of my way, he says. Oh, yes. It's a mark.
That's a big hit.
Oh, that is unbelievable. He's still going. Oh, there's one for the back page. They've done it.
A great team becomes a champion team. Get the adrenaline pumping from May 8th with AFL26.
Don't tell me he's kicked it. It's a goal.
All right. There is the trailer for AFL26, and it's a pretty limited slice. Let's be brutally honest here. I don't think there's a huge amount that we can glean from this. In fact, I think there's quite a lot, and we're going to go split screen, and we're going to try and look at this footage once again and play some stuff back as we go and kind of pick the teeth out of it a little bit here, because there are some really, I guess, fascinating elements that we want to discuss, and certainly one of the things that caught my eye is the collision and the responsiveness of players to a collision of some sort, whether that's someone climbing over the top for a mark, whether that's a bump, whether it's a tackle, whether it's just contact in the midst of a marking contest. There's some really cool aspects here on a physics front and a collision front that will certainly elevate this game beyond what the previous game was like and most AFL games up to this point. There are some other aspects here that I think we can peek behind the curtain and realize that it's just a trailer and not really representative of the final game experience. So let's do a little bit of split screen work here and revisit the trailer once again. And we'll kind of pick through it. We'll kind of hone in on some important moments along the way here and talk a little bit about what we see. So,
the atmosphere is electric. The adrenaline is pumping. There's nowhere you'd rather be.
It's nice to see, fans there at the banner. We see that a lot these days.
Takes a beauty.
Now, the first thing that catches my eye is here. It's this push and shove, what we see now. Obviously, we ultimately then get I'm going to have to let it play out a little bit here. We ultimately see, this great little Bailey Fritsch snapshot, but it's the way that the little fend off that goes on is kind of important. It's a shame that it's us cats that gets the wonderful little.
This would be something special.
Nothing to see here, but again, that contact, the shove off. I think that sort of thing's really important. I think we saw it a little bit in a marking contest earlier on there too.
Out of my way, he says.
The body on with Mac Andrew there as he takes the mark. Really important now. That face leaves a little bit to be desired. At least we're seeing with Andy McGrath here, he's kind of looking on in the contest. He's actually observing what's going on. I don't know about a few of these blokes that are actually not even paying attention to the game itself. But anyway, there's that little bit of contact, and we can kind of see the way Libba's being climbed over the top of here by, I believe that's Simpkin.
It's a mark.
Yeah, it is Simpkin, and Bont even kind of flying through the background a little bit too vertical for my liking there, but. Again, is what it is. There's always some limitations that we get here when it comes to an AFL game. Bailey Smith with the big bump.
Big hit.
Bit of 1-2 with Tyson Stengel and a beautiful goal. Jeremy Cameron also. I guess the thing that interests me a little bit here is some of these contextual goals. The Josh Sin, I think it was Josh Sin, the sock off the ground, the Tom Papley gather and kind of soccer out of the air. Some of those sorts of plays are really fascinating. And I'm curious to see, because this is obviously not gameplay. This is, designed, it's in engine, it's designed to kind of highlight how good the game can look at different stages and kind of portray the game in its best possible light. And I'm not saying the Big Ant's trying to do anything dodgy here, but it's not really representative of the gameplay experience. What we are seeing, though, are plays that typically we haven't been able to get from an AFL game in the past. And so I'm wondering here, are we going to see these gathers and soccers out of the air, or these quick soccers along the ground where there's a semblance of control, I guess, whether we're going to get those present in AFL26, and if so, what sort of inputs are required to make that happen? Is it, does the game slow down for a moment to allow the gather and then a button press? Do you just have to get the timing right as Tom Papley gets close and he jumps up and kicks the ball because you've managed to correctly press the kick button at just the right time? Not even a press and hold, but just a press. That's really interesting to me a little bit as well. We'll continue on here. What else do we have again? Harley Reid, the whole field clears for him. Don't think too much about it. A lot of these things are very much scripted to kind of create the cinematic look for the trailer. Got a lot of interest in the crowd at different stages.
A great team
Brisbane winning the flag, of course.
champion
the
team.
most recent pictures.
Get the adrenaline pumping from May 8th.
And then we get
AFL26.
And then we get Mac Andrew kicking that goal after the siren once again. Sucked in
Don't
Bombers
tell me
supporters.
he's kicked it. It's a goal.
Now, I guess the thing here that bothers me, and I'm going to go back to our little splash screen. I don't see any AFLW representation in this. And while I understand we're in the midst of the men's season, and I'm certainly aware that the overwhelming majority of people who will buy this video game will be men, there is a female audience that exists. There's plenty of women that will play this game, and we are having women on the cover. We've got representation of both the AFLW and the men's competition, and I think it's only fair in a trailer that you depict both sides of that. That's a little bit disappointing to me that it wasn't there. Now, of course, I do understand. Yeah, there's timing, there's marketing, there's all these sorts of reasons, maybe why that's the case, but to hell with those, really. So I guess that for me is a little bit of a point of disappointment, but it's not to say across the next, today's the 2nd, the next 6 days, we're going to see probably a fair bit more of the game, hopefully some semblance of gameplay along the way. And in that, maybe we get some representation of the AFLW. Right now, this trailer, setting aside my concern there from a moment ago, doesn't really show us anything of the actual gameplay experience, from what I can tell. These are all very carefully curated and cut slices to make the game look very good, as any trailer for a video game does, I might add. Doesn't matter whether we're talking about an AFL game, we're talking about GTA 6, we're talking about Borderlands 4 that's had trailers this week. Any game's trailer is designed to paint it in the best possible light, and that's what happens in this case. And I don't begrudge Big Ant for doing that. I'm just of the mind here that I would like to see some gameplay pre-release, or I'd like to see some footage of how the various different modes that have been included work. What options are available to players? At the moment, we've got a bit of text that's there with the retail listings on JB and EB's, the various retailers' websites, but we're not really getting much more than that. And we're 6 days out from launch. So for me, I think that's the next step. If Ross and the team happen to be watching right now, and it's not already too late, or you haven't already considered all this, I'd love to see some gameplay. I'd love to get some sort of representation of what those modes are going to look like. And that way you don't even potentially need to wade into the actual moment-to-moment action, which can maybe be hard to portray and explain to the player through a trailer as well. Gameplay demos are what really kind of help in that regard. And maybe 6 days out, it's not worth it in that regard. But some trailers that would show, here's the options, here's how it works, here's what you can choose from, here's how the stadiums can vary. There's a whole bunch of different things I would like to see in this trailer that are currently not present. And I'm hopeful that over the course of the next few days, that there's more to come out before the launch that shows people what is available in AFL26. As it is, the game is out on May 8th, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. No word about the Switch or the Switch 2 yet. We'll wait and see what happens in that regard. I suspect, and again, Ross, if you happen to be watching, Ross or anyone from the team, please let me know. Maybe you don't have Switch 2 SKUs or anything like that yet in development. You may not have dev kits. That makes a lot of sense in that regard. So very much, I guess, looking forward to seeing this game hopefully succeed. There was certainly some areas of concern from the last game. I think we'll put together another video before this game comes out with some of my hopes and perhaps expectations for AFL 26. But right now, that's a look at the game. Finally, a trailer, more than 8 seconds. We got more than a minute here. And, a bit of commentary to go with it, a little bit of crowd activity. Again, a little bit of a highlight into some of the collision aspects, which I think are really important when it comes to immersion in the game. It's a good start. Hopefully there's more to come. Hopefully when the game comes out on May 8th, people thoroughly enjoy it. That's where we'll wrap things up for this video. Thank you all for having watched it. There's going to be a lot more AFL 26 in the days, weeks, and months to come, I would imagine. So buckle in, get ready. We're looking forward to it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Hit the buttons down below. That's the subscribe button, the like button. Share this video with your friends. Get all the Hoops Crew content out there. And if you're looking for more AFL 26, I guarantee you'll find it here. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/thehoopscrew. Sign up. There's a 7-day free trial period. If you like what you see, consider sticking around. It costs $5 or $6 a month to get more Geelong specific, but also some AFL goodness delivered to your inbox. You'll find me at Paul James Games on socials. That's Twitter, that is Blue Sky, and that is Instagram. Hit me up there if you've got questions, comments, concerns, hopes for AFL 26. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.